Hey, you asked for it. It's Josh Vergara from Android Authority. What's going on, everybody? And I'm here in Temecula wine country, but before I get my wine taste on, I'm getting my drop test on. And today we're talking about the Sony Xperia Z1. Now this is a metal casing that is surrounded by almost completely glass, but the feel is incredibly premium, so we're gonna see how it holds up to our drop test. It's gonna be the same deal as always. We're gonna drop it on its back, on its bottom, right on its face. Sony says that the glass on the Sony Xperia Z1 is supposed to be shatterproof and scratch resistant, but let's see what happens when we drop it about 5 feet off the ground. I think it's drop test time. First drop test onto its back, making sure all the cameras are okay, and here we go. So, right from about my chest level, about 5 feet up, in 3, 2, 1. And as you can see here, the Xperia Z1 seems to have done really well in the back test. There really isn't that much damage, if at all, and you can't even really see it, but the only piece of damage that you can see is in the very corner over here where it pretty much landed. So far, the tempered glass seems to be doing the trick, and the metal chassis seems to be holding up as well. All right, here we go. Have it from about chest level. Just gonna drop it right onto its bottom. Let's see what happens. In 3, 2, 1. Once again, Sony is really proving that it is good at making its phones. This premium feeling phone seems to have a very premium build, and it's holding up very well to our test. The only thing that really starts to happen when you drop this phone is those covers on the side do tend to pop out, but that's really about it. When you get to the bottom here, you do see some scratches on the metal chassis, on the metal frame, and it looks like everything still looks just about as good as when we started. So, Sony Xperia Z1 still holding up very well. Final test right onto its face. Let's see what happens. All right from chest level. In 3, 2, 1. Oof, that was a very square hit. And there you have it. The Sony Xperia Z1 looks great still. It landed pretty squarely on its face. I got a pretty good impact, but nothing happened to the screen. Really, the only damage we see on the phone itself is from the 2 tests that we did before, but even then, it really wasn't that much. So I'm gonna head over to the shade and see if the phone will turn on after these 3 tests. We're gonna go in the shade, that way we can see the screen a lot better because it just doesn't work very well in this daylight. Let's see if we can turn it on. Yep. And this is the issue here. There might have been so much of an impact on the inside that either the battery got dislodged or something actually got damaged on the inside. So while Sony does have a shatterproof, scratch-proof, whatever you want to call it, glass on both sides all around the phone, it does still provide impact on the inside, and that would cause the innards to not work anymore. As you can see, I'm pressing the power button as much as I can, and it's not turning on the phone. And so, there you have it for this drop test. You can hear it in my voice that I'm actually kind of sad, and it's true. We had high hopes for the Sony Xperia Z1, and for the most part, it held up really well. But the final test in a drop test is making sure the phone can still turn on. And after 3 drops, we tried to turn it on and it just would not. I'm gonna show you some footage right now that I'm gonna have to film later because the daylight's just not allowing me to capture it, that the screen actually does still turn on. You see a little purple hue over on the right side. Even though the screen turns on though, it is not displaying anything but that little purple noise over on the side. So unfortunately, the Sony Xperia Z1 fails this drop test in that one key element, the element that's most important, that it still works after you drop it. It might still look like a great piece of hardware, but that's about all it is at this point. So, once again, this is Joshua Vergara. I hope you enjoyed this drop test. Stay tuned for all of our Sony Xperia Z1 coverage. We have a full review coming up. You can check out my unboxing and the first impressions. And then once we're done with the full review, we're gonna delve into a few of the features in depth. So as always, drop us a like down below if you liked the video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And stay tuned to Android Authority because we are your source for all things Android.